Beloved creative vessel, we must address this critical moment as Babylon is exposed for how she systematically harvests divine energy. They sacrificed to demons, not to God, to gods they had not known, to new gods that had recently appeared, whom your fathers did not fear. Deuteronomy 32:17. In the metaphysical realm, the idea of witches targeting starseeds, individuals believed to carry cosmic energy and unique creative potential, emerges as a narrative filled with spiritual intrigue. Starseeds are often associated with heightened intuition, creative ingenuity, and the ability to manifest profound transformations in their environment. This essay explores how a global Masonic network of witches might exploit starseeds' creative and energetic gifts to further their own objectives, focusing on themes of dharma, karma, and the delicate balance of spiritual power. They achieve this through soul ties, energetic exchanges, and spiritual contracts. This is the underlying purpose of the secretive parties depicted in Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut, not merely debauchery, but the perversion of holy marital exchanges and the spiritual manipulation of those destined for abundance in heaven, or called to accomplish great things for God, including the inheritance of generational wealth. One person has intercourse or contract with a starseed, and such energy is spread through this network. Those with spiritual gifts on the prophetic and also psychic side can see these energies and cords in the network fueling Babylon. The judgment for such practices often manifests as diseases and demonic oppression, leaving many unwell and in deep regret as starseeds begin to activate spiritually. The ultimate purpose of these trials is to draw people back to God, encouraging them to seek their spiritual wealth through the redemption offered by Christ's blood and surrendering their lives to his lordship. And Delilah said to Samson, "Tell me the secret of your great strength and how you can be tied up and subdued." Judges 16:6. Movie, Children of Men, 2006. Like the last pregnant woman facing systematic hunting, the true divine birth faces organized opposition from false systems. The spiritual landscape reveals these critical developments, and Delilah said to Samson, "Tell me the secret of your great strength." Judges 16:6. Global Masonic networks utilize psychics like the CIA research labs, identify starseeds and those with futures of significant manifestation potential. Soul ties form through strategic intimacy, spiritual contracts bind through deception, divine energy fuels Babylon's systems. Watch for these extraction methods: dream state infiltration attempts, emotional trigger exploitation, binding rituals through food or gifts, contract manipulation through false light, energy drainage through soul ties. Movie Hereditary 2018. Like Annie discovering generational cult ties, you're uncovering systematic targeting of your divine inheritance. Remember these crucial truths. Do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers, 2 Corinthians 6:14. Your creative power requires protection. Your energy demands sovereign boundaries. Your gifts need divine shielding. Your purpose faces organized opposition. P.S. When you feel systematic targeting intensifying, remember, the name of the Lord is a strong tower, Proverbs 18:10. You have heard that it was said, "You shall not commit adultery." But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Matthew 5:27-28. Engaging in intimacy with individuals aligned with dark practices such as witches or Freemasons creates soul ties that link your spirit to theirs. These connections can lead to spiritual and emotional bondage, opening doors to influences that oppose God's will. Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. Genesis 2:24. God's design for marriage as a covenantal bond fosters unity and spiritual purpose. Sleeping with individuals involved in occult practices outside of this covenant forms ungodly ties that distort the sanctity of this connection, causing spiritual harm and turmoil. Do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. For what partnership has righteousness with lawlessness? Or what fellowship has light with darkness? 2 Corinthians 6:14. Forming intimate ties with witches or Freemasons yokes you to practices that oppose God's principles. These connections weaken spiritual identity, introduce confusion, and hinder alignment with God's purposes for your life. Hereditary, 2018, manipulation of spiritual contracts. In the movie, Hereditary, the family's generational ties to the cult of Paimon reflect the concept of spiritual contracts being manipulated. The grandmother's deliberate alignment with dark forces creates karmic entanglements for her descendants, much like how witches exploit a starseed's desire for knowledge or purpose to bind them into contracts that serve demonic agendas. The transfer of Paimon's spirit into Peter is a form of energy extraction, mirroring the siphoning of a starseed's power for malevolent purposes. The cult's manipulation demonstrates how unresolved spiritual agreements can result in catastrophic consequences for unsuspecting descendants. Genesis 38:9-10. But Onan knew that the offspring would not be his, so whenever he went into his brother's wife, he spilled the semen on the ground to keep from providing offspring for his brother. What he did was wicked in the Lord's sight, so the Lord put him to death also. Context: this passage is part of the story of Judah and his sons. Onan's older brother, Er, was married to Tamar, but died without producing an heir. According to the custom of levirate marriage, Deuteronomy 25:5-10, Onan was obligated to marry his brother's widow and provide offspring that would carry on Er's lineage. However, Onan deliberately avoided this responsibility, not only failing to fulfill his duty, but also taking advantage of Tamar for his own gratification without honoring the purpose of their union. Insight: Onan's act of intentionally spilling his seed reflected a refusal to fulfill his familial and spiritual duty, resulting in wasted potential and selfishness. While the specific context of this story relates to lineage and inheritance, it illustrates the broader principle of misusing one's energy or resources for ungodly reasons. The consequences highlight the seriousness of acting in ways that contradict divine purpose or exploit sacred connections. And Elijah came near to all the people and said, "How long will you go limping between two different opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him, but if Baal, then follow him." 1 Kings 18:21. The targeting of starseeds by witches for their creative and manifestation energy mirrors the broader spiritual conflict between divine alignment and idolatry. By recognizing the methods used against them, learning from the spiritual missteps of figures like Solomon and Samson, and employing robust defenses, starseeds can protect their energy and fulfill their divine purpose. As Elijah's challenge to Israel reminds us, unwavering alignment with God is the ultimate shield against spiritual manipulation.